What's good, Philadelphia Dance Experience? Dr. David Heller, aka Dr. Moose, about to interview the one, the only Dr. Strange, aka Sean. So Sean is a liquid dancer. He is one of the original founding members of the Liquid Pop Collective, one of the first ever liquid dance crews. And he's going to talk to you today about his experiences with liquid, the rave scene as it used to be, and where liquid is today in relation to today's underground electronic dance music scene. So welcome, Sean.
Thanks for having me. See you, buddy, as always. My name is Sean Quinn Mankin. I go by the dance name D Strange. I've been involved in the dance scene for going over 25 years now. I started in 1997 when I started going to the rave scene at the end of the 90s. I started partying, going to various dance events. Was into dancing always, but not really into serious like training dancing or a particular style until one day in 1997, I had a party, ran into Fu Manchu, who became my first teacher and mentor in dance.
Hi, I'm Fu Manchu. Real name's Edward Hickman. I've been dancing since the summer of 1994, mostly in the New York, New Jersey scene. Do a lot of different street styles, but I'm primarily known for doing liquid. A dance style specifically probably heavily influenced by an older style, waving, but where you specifically dance with your hands.
So I've never seen liquid done at a level like that. Everybody at the parties back in the day, the raves, were doing some kind of form of liquid. Basic movements with glow sticks, figure eights, simple little, maybe hand waves with a glow stick in it, but nothing really complicated what you see today. The first time I saw any inkling of that was when I met Fu, and he was doing some stuff I've never seen before. Incredible liquid, big moves, big movements, splits, all that good stuff. So soon after that, I started hanging out with Fu. We became friends. We started dancing, training together a little bit. Soon after that, we met Sammy D, who now goes by LS Dream, big time movie producer, music producer on the bass scene. He joined us up as friends and during dancing training. And then we weren't really calling ourselves a crew, we were just kind of joking around, having fun, meeting some other dancers here and there. But then soon after that, we met Liquid Pop Eric down in Philadelphia. Once we met him, and he had a whole different kind of style of liquid, but also just equally awesome and definitely above the level of everybody else I've seen at that time. That's when we performed the LPC soon after that.
So you call yourselves the Liquid Pop Collective. Where does the pop come from? What does that mean? For those, because a lot of my students aren't even really familiar with what popping is, and they're just learning what liquid is. So you want to explain to them why that's part of your title?
Yes, of course. Liquid Pop Collective, we called ourselves the Liquid Pop Collective because as we were all learning liquid, or Fu and Eric already very well good at liquid, we were also learning popping. A lot of us were getting into various funk styles and popping styles. I know me and Fu, right when I started learning liquid, we started both getting into tutting, which was becoming a very popular style in the late 90s because of the Mr. Wiggles tapes and various other dancers that were killing it at that point, you know what I'm saying? So we all were getting into different styles. Eric was into, waving. Jarrah was having into waving Cobra along with Liquid and Digits, and Sammy was into pop, Boogaloo, some robot. So we decided to call ourselves the Liquid Pop Collective because we were doing liquid and popping. It's not like a style. That got confusing too for a lot of people. They were calling it liquid popping and stuff like that. No, there's liquid and there's popping, and you can mix the styles, but they're two separate dance styles.
Section 1, Technique Advice. Before we address any of the concepts within Liquid, we will be going over a few things that we feel will help you develop into the best Liquid dancer that you can be. First and foremost, it is of the utmost importance that you remember Liquid is a dance. When dancing, you should use your entire body and as much of the dance floor as possible. However, the most important thing when you're doing Liquid is dancing to the beat. Speed control is also very important in enhancing the illusion further, and is especially useful when dancing to a flat 4/4 beat, like the beats most commonly found in techno, trance, or house music.
So what was the music like back like in the rave scene in the 90s through, say, like the early 2000s?
Yeah, it was so a lot of good stuff. The great thing about the rave, especially in the 90s, like a lot of the events were these big spots, these big clubs, and there would be different areas, different rooms, or whole different flavors of music. There was always a main room that would have a lot of good techno. Trance, house, some electro breaks. Then it was always be a drum and bass room playing some like real good. The era of drum and bass was really good. Personally, I know I was into trance at first, and Fu used to tell me stories that he used to like when he started creating his style was getting down to a lot of trance, and I'm talking like the old school good stuff, you know, Paul Oakenfold. But then we both really got heavy into like, and I'm still to this day, one of my favorite genres of electronic music is like electro breaks. I personally like found a choice for most people. I love doing Liquid to 90s hip hop, like boom bap style stuff now. You know, catching the lyrics and stuff, catching the flow with the words more than even the beats. But
that's an interesting point too. So like, yes, that Liquid definitely has its roots within electronic music and in like some specific categories of it, although it was definitely done to a lot of different types of electronic music. It's a dance form that essentially can go with any music that you play.
Think of that famous Bruce Lee quote when he's talking about be like water. It's kind of like that style, that quote to me, where Liquid can become whatever it goes into. If you're good at Liquid and you have a good basis in, say, Robot, say in Boogaloo, say in Tutting, you can mix the styles and not lose the foundation of both or the idea of both.
In those days, whether it's right before your time or during your early days, especially, and this is the touchy subject that I have to ask everybody. Were at the time, were psychedelics around, and did they impact Liquid's development in any way, shape, or form? I'm just asking this on a broad, general. You can answer this however you want.
It was definitely around. It was the rave scene. People were on psychedelics. People were on Molly. You know, some people chose to do worse stuff. I never, go towards that stuff. But psychedelics, mushrooms, acid was definitely around. Lots of Liquid heads partaked in that. Did it help Liquid? Maybe it helped in the creation of some stuff, forming some stuff. I always told people later to continue doing that constantly all the time. It would damage your dance or not help it that much. And I've seen dancers in the scene where it has done that.
Yeah.
Where you think you're at a high level because you're on psychedelics so much, but you're really not, or you're not really musicality wise on point because you're tripped out and not, of the right mind.
Yep.
But for starting in creation and maybe helping along the process of learning liquid and digits, it could be an aid. It could help, but it's not the real. I've seen also people who've never done psychedelics and be excellent at it. You know what I mean? So it's not a mandatory thing that you need to do it, especially nowadays where there's now a concrete foundation, multiple high-level instructors that can help teach, yourself included. You know what I'm saying? I know you teach kids, Hadouken's teaching classes. I used to teach kids in at-school programs. You don't need psychedelics.
This is exactly what I explain to my students as well. Liquid does not require any kind of altered state from any substance whatsoever. It is a disciplined art form that simply comes with time. Yes, in its infancy, psychedelics were around to essentially find a creative moment, if you will. But the thing about those substances is, unless you can take those experiences with you into your sober waking life, they're not going to actually benefit you in the long run. The real work is disciplining yourself to dance every day and fully explore it, which is where labbing comes in. So why don't you tell everybody, when we say labbing, what does that mean?
Labbing is just like, it's a practice session. It could be an intense labbing session where you're really drilling, you're doing this, or you're doing rounds with you have friends or crewmates you're doing with, going at each other, maybe in a battle aspect or just passing the flow. Or it could be labbing at home, just practicing, getting a full-length mirror, maybe, again, doing some drills if you have them, a good basis, some drills, some practice stuff, or just freestyling in the mirror for an extended period of time to some music, a set, to just work on your skills. It's like you said, it's a discipline, just like anything. If you want to be a good basketball player, you got to drill. You got to do the same motions over and over again. You got to practice hundreds of foul shots a day. If you want to be top level, you got to practice, drill, lab like a top level person.
Ask you about your specific approach to liquid and what some of your main contributions to the style have been over the years.
Oh, definitely. Okay, so my approach to liquid, I have a lot of approaches. I started, like I said, learning from Fu. I learned a lot from Eric. I take pieces of what they do. I invented my own style, eventually, kind of to go with my own flow. But liquid to me is, like you said, it can be a couple of things. I sometimes look at liquid like it's something I'm holding, controlling the flow in my hand, using it to do contours, using it to move me around, or I kind of look at it like it's something inside of me, like a symbiote almost, kind of like venom, and I can use it to control what's inside of me while also keeping the flow with the hands. I've contributed, I think, a lot to making liquid more moving around, using your feet more with it. What we were just talking about, adding the styles with it, I think I do a really well. I've added like a lot, I would say, sub styles to liquid by mixing the idea of mixing styles. Like we were just talking about liquid tuts. I have my own form of it where it's all wrist-based. So I'm following kind of like a tut pattern grid and doing different shapes. Again, like this is considered liquid tutting, something I invented. I'm still doing liquid, but I'm also kind of keeping the idea of a tut, using also the lines of the grid. Mixing, I call it string theory, or you can call it liquid puppet. The idea of the flow is a piece of string and it bends when you move it. So I'm also keeping the flow with the wrist again, but I'm also imagining I have like a string that could be also added to some puppet, stuff like that.
So puppeting and miming definitely have a little bit of a similar kind of aesthetic.
Well, both a lot in modern liquid uses a lot too, fixed point, which is actually one of the most important things for any of the dance styles we're talking about. The more I learn about all these different styles, fixed point is a very important thing for tutting.
Can you explain what fixed point is?
point is when miming, when you see people doing like walking on the wall, they keep one point fixed, say it's their palm, and if they want to move away, that still stays there, but they can move around it or then move it. It's the same thing in like say I'm doing something with my wrist, I'm fixing the point of the wrist and I'm moving around it.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been learning the last year or so, learning through taking courses with Pop and Todd. Shout out to my man Pop and Todd, Ill Skills. I think I really add to Liquid is that I've been here for it. I've seen pretty much the beginning, the middle, and I'm staying around till the end. So I personally love the book Zen Mind, Beginner Mind. I always try to keep myself like that, always be a student. That's how I personally feel like I've maintained my skills in Liquid, even though I'm going on 25 years in the dance. I feel I can hang with any of the guys that are still doing it, top of the line, new guys, young guys, because again, I watch what they do. I adapt to new stuff added to the dance. I don't just say, oh, it's only the old school. You got to do what's on the LPC video and that's it. No, I've seen the dance grow and become way bigger than what the LPC first started out with.
How did you and I meet?
We met, I think, online, right? Originally, maybe.
We did. We met online. We when I was doing my doctoral dissertation research on liquid dance, and when I was writing that giant document, and I actually reached out to you just for an interview, but we actually met in person at a liquid dance meetup, which was actually an informal kind of, labbing / cypher / battle session in Knoxville, Tennessee called Confluence. And this was in 2018. Yeah.
2018 one. That was a great one. That was an awesome time, my friend.
That was an awesome time because so many people showed up that I also met for the first time in person.
But Confluence has definitely helped the liquid scene stay alive, pushed the next few generations further by competition, which I feel is essential for street dance of any sort or liquid digits to go further. Because it makes people train for something, maybe want to, and again, in a friendly manner. You don't got to be on some like battling beef like some of these breakdancing battles get like, or sometimes the popping. The liquid scene is not really like that. There is no serious beefs. It's a small scene, so everybody kind of knows each other and respects each other. So yeah, the Confluence event has always been a great time. That one that I met you're talking about was particularly one of my favorites. Yeah, great time. Chris Verb-Atkins, if you don't know him, one of the best liquid heads to ever do it. He's been doing it for a hot minute at this point. I think he started like a little after, the LPC era, like after that next generation. But he's been throwing this event, Confluence, which is pretty much the only liquid event up until last year when my friend Dave here put on Liquid Royale, Philadelphia. I'm also a great event.
This is what the fuck real underground culture is all about. This is not easy shit. You do it because you love it.
We would not have been able to put this battle together if it wasn't for the three of us pushing each other every day for the past 5 months. Right on. Can you tell the students a little bit about chronic illness and why did you bring me into your crew?
Oh, okay. So yeah, chronic illness was a second crew years after Yale PC broke up around 2003 or 4. Me and Phil was still doing it. We wanted to keep expanding it. So at that time, I was running an after-school program, middle school. I had a student, Edgar, who became very good, very fast. He wound up becoming one of the members of the crew because his skills got really good, liquid digits and robot animation. And then we were looking for more members. Riz was on there, had to add her because she's one of the best to ever do it. And just keeps getting better and better. We were looking for new people. You were definitely one of the people we saw I liked, or I saw and liked. And you were definitely coming up on the scene. I liked your liquid. You were rising fast, getting good at liquid. Your energy was good. Your vibe, great attitude, great thirst for knowledge of the dance, want to learn. You have really good break dancing skills, which I really respected. And I love when you mix those together, always pushing you to become the first liquid break dancer. That would be amazing. And yeah, man. And now we got a nice little crew, and Verb, of course, because I was respected as liquid, and it's just gotten even so much better since he's entered the crew.
Let's go! Well, it's no more than that, man. This is the finals right here. We go for blood. This is Liquid Royale.
He's, to me, one of the best to ever do it. He's on my personal Mount Rushmore of liquid heads. So yeah. So Chronic, I mean, we're a bunch of guys that I don't see many crews that could step to us and just liquid and digits.
All right, D Strange. So what we're going to show everybody is an example of what we call pass the flow. You want to let everybody know what we're about to do?
Yeah, it's a long time tradition in liquid, kind of one of the things that started with the dance. You be in what we call a cypher, a big circle at a rave, dance party. Some person would go in, do a liquid set, freestyle for a little bit, and then take the actual liquid like it's a physical object and pass it to the next person who would enter the cypher and then do their kind of their liquid, set. And it's something we continue to do, kind of go with the tradition and the culture of, the liquid scene.
Exactly. So we'll just do 2 rounds each. Who wants to go? You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Why not?
All right. Here we go.
Super
go, D-Strange. Yeah.
Good there, bro. Looking crispy good.
Hey, you too, my man.
Yeah, bro.
It's always such a pleasure to pass the flow with you, dude. Like, I mean, every time that you and I have an exchange, you inspire me to want to just like take it to the next level. Cause like,
And likewise, bro. Every time I see you bust out some liquid, mixing with some breakdance and smooth like that, makes me want to get on the ground more. But I also feel like you're bringing up one of the reasons why, because of where you said, like where the dance comes from, the culture it comes from. And I important thing to remember now, like when I was getting to the rave scene in 1997, 1998, the sayings of the ravers was what? Plur.
peace, love, unity, respect. Yeah.
I don't know. In the year 2025, the world needs a lot more Plur out there, dude. We're sure.
Man.
If you could bring a little bit into the world with a dance scene, your art you do, music, please do that because the world is desperate for stuff like that right now.
Yeah.
So if you do have a passion for the dance, please get into it, perfect your style, get better at it, and promote it. Teach it, share it, take your flow and pass the flow to the next person.
Yes, that's beautiful. We'll end it on that note. How can my students reach you or contact you if you want to share anything?
Fine, they can, if they want, you can email me or you can even DM me on Instagram. Yeah, tell them to say, hey, I'm Dave Heller's student, or I saw your video from Dave Heller and have a question. I'll be happy to answer, man.
Thank you again.
No problem. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.